Welcome to an episode of You Haven't Read What? I'm Krysta.
And I'm Christina. Join us to explore unique genres, childhood favorites, and literary classics as we dive into each other's favorite reads.
Where one of us is very familiar with the book, the other is reading for the very first time. Let's go.
Well, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm sore.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
We had a fun night. Our girls had a fundraiser
rink.
for school?
Yeah, it's
or
a
was it just
fundraiser.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
I was like, it's just a fun night? No, it's a fundraiser for school that for like $5.
Yep.
You go and skate for 2 hours, which then results in 2 hours of me holding up a 3-year-old bent in half.
Yep.
So my back hurts so bad. But Tim and I take turns with him.
Yep.
And they have these really cute little PVC ding, 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 ding thing.
Right,
It looks like a walker. It looks
Yep.
like an old man walker. But yeah, so that kind of helps. But I'm still holding up
Yeah.
45 pounds because he's a big boy.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
So my back is like,
And then I just stood on the side and just
Gave me a
hung out
break
with
when
him.
I needed.
Hung out with him when he needed to
I was
get
like,
off.
I need to go skate a lap to loosen up again.
Right.
When I got here for podcasting, I was like, I need a minute. I'm going to go walk down your street and back.
Which
My
is
back
good because I
hurts.
had 1.5 pages still that I was reading as I was like messaging you. Yep. He's still
Please
in with
do.
water. So putting her to bed. So you go do you.
And go stretch. I pet one of your neighbor's dogs.
Oh, is it the white one?
No, black lab.
Oh,
Very
not
gray
sure
muzzle.
Which one?
Super cute.
Teeny tiny. Almost like this
Define-
big maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
I would consider
I
that
don't
teeny
remember his
tiny.
name now.
She.
But yeah.
At least I'm
Okay.
assuming she. Purple collar. I'm guessing
Maybe.
she.
Yeah.
But
I don't
anyway.
remember the dog's name, but
Yeah.
lives down the street from the white one. And the white one's name is Sassy, and Sassy knows everybody.
Sassy sounds sassy.
Yes.
Anyway, we have a lot of notes
We
to get
do.
to tonight. So
Yep.
take us in.
Yes, we should probably get started. Okay. So we are on chapters 18 through 21. There's no coming back from this. And our chapter titles are Alan Has Left the Chat. People Have Imaginations. I'm pretty sure I wrote that one down right?
Yeah.
'Cause
you
now,
do.
okay. I was reading it and I was like, I feel like this is wrong as I'm reading it.
Nope.
But yeah. Okay. So people have imaginations, the vanities, and tugboat.
So random.
I know, right?
I love the titles.
Yep.
They're so random.
Well, and they're in each chapter. Like the phrase
Yes.
is in every chapter, but it's not overly used, which
No.
I think is amazing because there are books out there that like have the title of the book and the chapter names just like every other word basically. And I'm
Right.
just like, this is too much.
Like,
Too
stop
much.
it.
Yep.
Stop it.
Yeah. But anyways, so Alan has left the chat, but he's nice this time.
Yes.
As Poppy comes into the trailer, he's got coffee. Or, well, she's already in the trailer. He comes in with coffee.
Yeah. With the coffee for her.
Yep. But then,
And Kevin has made himself at home.
yes, on the gray blanket. Is it now Kevin's blanket?
It is definitely Kevin's blanket now. Throughout these 4 chapters,
Yeah.
she has claimed the blanket.
Yes, she has.
For sure. But we confirm Emily is, quote, the problem.
Yeah, we have definitely figured out that Emily is some of the problem.
Some of the problem. Fair. But then, like, with Poppy's thoughts of why do I do that? Of assume it's her and I was annoyed at me. I was
Right.
like, oh, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel seen.
Yeah.
I overanalyzed something and my mind went to the worst possible thing.
Well, I think a lot of us kind of have that trigger too, though. Like, it depends on the situation typically, but like, it's either you go to the extreme other side where you're like, oh, it's going to solve all of my problems and I'm going to be a millionaire in like a year or whatever it is.
That's never
Or
me.
It's okay, what's the worst possible thing that could possibly happen? And that's what's going to happen. My house is going to go up in flames and I'm going to have nothing left and I'm going to live on the streets. Like,
Okay, I don't go quite that far either.
you go. Like I said,
Catastrophic.
depends on the situation.
Half full or half empty glass.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been selling all the crap in my house, so my husband's just like, "Am I going to come home and I'm not going to have
Sleep in the tent?
anything left?" He's like, are you going to sell the house too? I was like, we rent, so I can't sell it.
I would love to, but no.
Exactly. But anyways.
And then I had to do my engineering nerdy thing, Tinseltown.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'd heard that phrase before, but I was
Yes.
like, what does Tinseltown like actually mean?
Yeah.
So it was coined in 1975, which was significantly later than I was expecting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely.
And it refers to the glamorous and superficial world of the movie industry and is used to describe both the industry as well as the Hollywood area.
Yep.
So kind of a geographical area, as well as just now that films are being made, worldwide.
Right.
You can kind of refer to anything.
Yeah.
But 1975, I was like, that seems like something from like
the 40s,
Yeah.
30s.
kind of more of
like
the
that.
Marilyn Monroe era.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so what's that, 50s?
50s, yeah. 60s maybe. But yeah, like I said, I was expecting more of the older,
Right.
fashioned
Yeah.
glam. But I also like that it was superficials in there too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that ties into this book nicely.
Right.
Hello, superficial Hollywood.
Right. Well, you have to think though that like it is very superficial. Like you get the side of the people that want like take Alan for example. He is very one way in his trailer with Poppy, and then a completely different person outside of the trailer. He's nice, he's friendly, he's saying hi to everybody, he acts like he just owns the place, whatever. But with Poppy, he's got so much banter.
We're going to come back to that in the last chapter we're discussing tonight.
Okay.
But yes, totally, totally true. And that's definitely something, I mean, I know I was always told, both as a kid and as an adult, I see it, that it's like, it's so fake.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to a different podcast this morning. That was something they were talking about, that the film or the show that they're talking about is a New York apartment kind of setting. And they're like, nobody does a New York apartment. Like there's no
Right.
way these characters can afford this apartment.
Right.
And you go back to it, there's a whole history of sitcoms and all of this that are in
Yeah.
these beautiful New York apartments. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what life is really like.
Well, isn't so Friends is
one of
based
them.
in a New York apartment, but wasn't the apartment originally Monica's aunt's or
Grandmother.
something? Grandmother's. Okay, I knew
So
it was family, and then
they-
it was passed down.
They put that in. That is literally the last episode or the second to last episode of Friends. That they
Okay.
dropped that line that because of rent control, it's a steal.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it's still in her grandmother's name.
Right.
But that's after 9 years of getting crap.
Yeah.
That there's no way
Yeah.
this chef and, Rachel jumps between
Rachel's
jobs.
everything.
But like, there's no way these two people could afford an apartment of this
Right.
size that's
Yep.
this nice in,
2 bedrooms,
in New
like
York.
that. Yeah, for sure.
And it's just that big with a balcony and
Yep.
like not on the ground floor and like all this stuff. I was like,
Right.
no, that's not a thing. And so the podcast I'm listening to now is about How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
And so same idea.
Yeah. Okay.
One guy's in college and the other guy is a working architect, and they have a fairly nice New York apartment.
Okay.
But that's something they talk about, is they were like, we intentionally, like, because of filming, like, it had to be a little bit bigger because you can't fit
You
cameras
can't fit,
in.
Yeah, into a tiny apartment.
So they were like, make it as small as you can. But the big thing that they were talking about that they did is they left like dents on the wall and chips and screws
Yeah.
sticking out of the wall. And they made it look a little bit more run down,
See,
unlike Friends did.
Their apartment always reminded me of Chandler and Joey's apartment in some ways.
A little bit more so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, Chandler and Joey, with their jobs, would
Yeah.
never afford that apartment.
I mean, Joey was an actor and a really
he didn't
famous
even
one
have
on
health insurance.
but he was a famous actor on
Days of Our Lives.
like on a really big like
For a little bit.
No, he was like the main character for a long time. He was the main doctor.
Not that long.
Oh,
But
maybe.
yeah. Yeah. Not super long, but yeah, he comes and goes. But I mean, there's multiple seasons. He does not have health
True.
insurance.
Okay.
And he ends up with a hernia. But yeah. So anyway, I definitely get that. The glamorous and the superficialness of it is something that's like, you see it on TV and it's so perfect. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, these are people who have professionals dressing them and doing
Right.
their makeup and doing their hair and the house, made for film and all of this. And it's like, that's just, or the other great example everyone goes to is Oh no. Shoot, Christmas movie, kid gets left behind.
Home Alone.
Home Alone, thank you.
Yes.
That they're like that Home Alone house
Yeah.
in a New York suburb would be something like $2 million.
Yeah.
And he's paying for a trip for like 13 people to go to Paris.
Yeah.
What does he do for a living?
I mean, maybe he's a bank robber. Who knows?
Clearly something sketchy. Like, because you cannot afford that.
And most of the family he doesn't even like.
Forgets his own kid.
Right?
But anyway, yeah. It's just kind of, it's so hard, especially with kids now, that you see everything so perfect. And now with social media, it's going to be even worse for our kids than it was for us.
Yep.
That everyone's only putting their highlight reels out there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not real life.
Well,
Hollywood is not real life.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard.
But we do find out a little bit about Emily and how hard her life has been.
Woof. Yeah.
So do you feel bad for her at least a little bit? Even though she's a butthead? Do you feel do you feel bad just a teeny bit?
Yeah.
She's still a person, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, just her being young and obviously having she's already said that, her mom's a jerk, and having no like mother example in her life is like, well, that's
and then no dad
crappy.
really. Yep.
And then finding out that her dad ran off basically and leaving her alone. I was like, okay, like, yeah, you get a touch of sympathy.
Yeah.
But also like,
Don't be a butthead.
you can still learn kindness.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes, so like in that world, kids of actors and actresses and directors or whatever, of famous people, aren't typically raised without being spoiled in some ways.
Yeah.
And even some only children are very similar to that. I mean, Water is an only child, and we try to do our best to not necessarily spoil her, but you're going to still have that at least a little
You're
bit.
gonna have nuances.
Yep. Which is one reason why her being around you guys is so nice, because she has to share. She has to be nice.
Welcome to life with a little brother.
Right? Exactly. But I do think, too, that people do forget sometimes, kind of like Alan's story of his own life as well, is that, like, you have to remember that even though people are rich and famous, they still have feelings, and they still have like traumas, and they still have whatever it is that's going on in their life. And a lot of people just think just because you have money, you should just not feel anything. And that's not how life works.
Yeah, it's kind of that thought of you can always buy your way out of any trouble. It's
Right.
Like, well, you
And
can't
that's not
buy your
true.
way out of emotional trouble.
Right. No.
Like that's not
or
a
even
thing.
mental trouble. Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot that happens in people's lives, and you can't just buy yourself out of that.
Right. And so again, we do not compare notes before we do this. But I highlighted that when Alan says everyone wants to see the rich and famous do poorly, and I kind of had this in my head. I was like, yeah, depends who you are. There's some people that I'm like, you could be knocked down a few pegs, and I wouldn't shed a tear. But there are other ones I'm like, no, you're a humble, nice person,
Right.
Like, and then I'm like, no.
But then at the same
nothing
time,
against you.
even those type of people. Okay, so Keanu Reeves, I love him. He's an amazing actor. He's a great guy all the way around. However, sometimes I wonder, is even those type of people, are they putting on an act as well? Do they still, I mean, everybody has a bad day, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But like, there's not a lot of trash talk about him. And so, if any, really. But yet he went through something very tragic in his life. And so it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, I'm not saying that he should be knocked down or anything like that, but sometimes I almost wonder, like, is he as good as he says he is, or that the people think he is? Or is Justin Bieber as wild and horrible to people as they say he is? Because maybe they're just catching them at the bad moments, and they're not actually getting, like you said, the real portions of people's lives. They're just getting those little snippets.
I think there's groups of that you get I've definitely seen headlines of like, Keanu Reeves or Taylor Swift or other people we've talked, Robin Williams. Yeah. That it's kind of like, they're short to somebody, they're rude, they walk away, whatever. But it's like, It's like, okay, you're having a bad day, but
Yep.
it's pretty clearly of like, that was a one-off. Like that is who you are 10% of the time.
Right.
That's not who you are.
Right.
And
But
so
then
I kind of look at like the groupings of stories of like,
Yeah.
what's the narrative? What are
Right.
people complaining about for real with this person?
Right.
And I also, it's always kind of a strong point for me when there's celebrities that do not post their kids on social
Yep.
media.
Kristen Bell.
have, Kristen Bell's one of them. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt don't. Chris Pratt doesn't.
Yep. And a lot of them have rules on
He's married to Schwarzenegger.
when they're allowed to do things and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which
So
I found
that is
interesting.
already like, if I come across anybody who's like, maybe shares like their kid from the back wearing Mickey ears at Disneyland kind
Yeah.
of thing running down the street, but like, I'm not going to show you my kid's life. They haven't signed up
Yep.
for this kind
Yeah.
of, I mean, we're protecting our kids
Yep.
from this. And so it's like, that's always a big like star to me when I
Yeah.
see stars that keep their kids away from things. On the flip
Yeah.
side, you got the Kardashians who are making money off of their kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
gross.
But their kids are also making money as well, and that can help them
Not
in the
the little ones.
future. Well, yeah. They like a lot of them will have where they're paying their children. So
Legally, they have to.
yes.
Yeah.
And so they'll have
It's-
like trust and they'll have savings and they can learn how to use that money as they get older or whatever.
You think the Kardashians are teaching their kids that?
I mean, you never know. You don't know their everyday life. Like
Zero
Kevin
respect.
Costner, one of Kevin Costner's things, I've seen a recent video about how like he made his son buy a truck. If he wanted a truck, he had to buy it himself. So he went out and got a job at like a gas station or something like that. I don't remember where he worked, maybe bagging groceries or something.
Simple.
But he had to go buy himself whatever he wanted as a vehicle. He was not gifted that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean,
And
with me growing up in Seattle, that
Yeah.
was a big news story is Bill and Melinda Gates did not
Oh,
give their kids
yep.
a dime for college.
yep.
And I was like, that's kind of cruel because
I mean, I didn't get a dime for college
you
either,
don't,
so.
but you qualified for financial aid.
I did not, which is why I never went because my dad made too much. And
I
then he
qualified for financial aid.
and then he got laid off the next year.
My financial aid was garbage.
Yeah, I didn't
was
qualify
like-
for anything because
I'm
of
calling
my
BS
dad's-
on that because
No, I didn't.
I guarantee my dad made more than yours did. And I
Probably.
still qualified for FAFSA.
Maybe a little tiny bit.
It was a little bit, yeah.
Mine
I know
went-
my mom laughed and was like, if we can contribute that much to college, we wouldn't be eating.
Right.
But it was like, because they were like, you should be able to contribute this much to your child's education.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, yeah, okay. If we don't want to eat, sure.
Right. Exactly.
But I still got a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get anything.
Bullshit.
Okay. I mean, it's been a million years,
It has
so
been a million
I could be wrong, but it was one of the reasons I didn't go because I couldn't afford it. Even if I would have gotten something, I would never have been able to afford it.
I just took out a bunch of loans. Yeah. Which don't do it.
I know, right?
Now,
I
in
know.
fairness, I say I took out a bunch of loans, but I went to a college. It was a private college. It was $40,000 a year,
Yeah.
and worked my butt off with 3 different jobs and scholarships and all of this, and graduated with only $25,000 of debt.
That's nice.
So I was like, you can do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And then was an engineer, so
Yeah.
paid it off in under a year.
So my husband's family pays for college, pays for the college. Anything outside of the college credits, though, they had to pay for. So
Oh, okay.
my husband went to school to be a helicopter pilot. He had to pay for
All the
all of the
flight
gas and the
hours
flight hours and all of that stuff. So that's what
Yeah.
we had for loans.
Yeah. No, we had, Tim didn't have anything. He did the Army route.
Yeah.
So I do he paid for his college by missing a year of his daughter's life.
Yeah.
Is how he paid for college.
Yeah.
But hey, worked out well for us.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm like, there's always a way. And yeah, my parents helped. So my parents basically gave me the amount that had I gone to a state school,
Okay.
tuition would have been covered.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to a state school. So
Right.
it was like, okay, that's really nice. Thank you. Awesome. Super excited. But
Right.
now about the rest of it.
Right.
This is a large amount.
Sign my name on the dotted line.
Yeah. And I was like, I was paying it off while I was in school.
Yeah.
Instead of saving it.
Yeah.
And didn't take out a credit card, which was
That's
also
good.
smart. Don't do credit cards, kids. Run away.
Anyways.
Stay away from credit cards.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, you just said it, but that was my next note is sometimes we forget there are people behind the headlines. And while I don't care enough about the royal family to create an opinion, Meghan Markle has been horribly treated in the media.
Yeah.
I mean, on Mother's Day, she just posted a really cute picture of her holding both of her kids, and they also protect their kids' identity, so props. But holding both of her kids, you can just kind of see from the back.
Yeah.
And so you can see the back of their kids' heads. And people are trashing her, saying, oh, what actors did you hire this week? Because your kid's hair is more red than that. Like, it's Twilight
so
outside.
Weird.
Like,
and not only that,
why?
But cameras are all different. All computer screens are different.
Right.
All phone screens can be different when it comes to color.
So that's one that I look at like her and I go, I don't know why you get the grief you do.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely one, everything with the royal family, that I'm like, people forget that these are people.
Real people. Yep.
Real people with real lives.
Yep. For sure.
Trying to survive craziness.
And again, we're not the fly on the wall, so we have no idea what's true and what's not. So
just let it
let's
go.
just be nice
kind.
to people.
Especially right now.
Right.
Be kind to people. It's not that
right.
hard. Anyway.
But yeah, so we've learned a little bit about Emily and Alan's backgrounds, where they're coming from and everything like that, and how Alan kind of feels about his own life and everything.
I do like that she Googles it.
I do. But here's my question. Why hasn't she Googled 3?
Ooh. Shit, that's a good question.
Is it because she knows him and has known him for a long time?
Yeah.
Because she can Google
she
literally anyone.
I think she Googled Emily Director's niece, and I was like, that should not have worked.
Yeah, no.
Too good AI, too good. Dang, that's a good question. Yeah.
Just because, like, you would think you'd want to know who, because he, in another chapter, which we can just keep working on, is, like, who he was in a partner or a long-term relationship with. So, like...
And he just said it ended poorly.
Yeah.
We're skipping ahead here a little bit, but that's okay.
You would think that you'd want to know. Yeah, I skipped up slightly, but whatever.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm just curious because if she's Googling Alan and Emily, I mean, she could.
Now, in fairness, she didn't
Wanda.
think to Google them until Alan told her to.
That is true.
Basically,
that's true.
That was when she was finally like, "Oh, okay, I'll look up these people and see what's going on."
Yeah, for sure. But how the way that people are replaceable in the industry that she is currently in is
scary.
It's crazy. Like,
there's just somebody else waiting for the job.
But the thing is, too, is it's that way in any job, which to me is a little crazy. Like, in Colorado, we're a no-fault state. So, which means that people can be fired for no reason. They don't have to have a reason.
Yeah.
Like, your boss could just be like, oh, I don't like the color red on you, so I'm firing you. Like, they can do that legally. And yet, like, there's going to be another person waiting to get hired. That's just how jobs work. But yet, like, having that hang over your head like a noose, to me, is just crazy.
The week by week, if not knowing if you have a job, is insane.
Well, it's day by day.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Day by day.
Like, if it was week by week, I'd be a lot less stressed.
You're right. But it is day by day.
Literally day by day.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So, yeah, I think it's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's nuts. I like to think I'm not replaceable at work. But
I know, right?
Okay. But, ooh, she's not the first must hire that 3 has hired.
No. So the way that Alan says it, though, is very, like, brisk and just, like, very ouch. Like, seriously, dude. Like, you're already on thin ice with each other.
He gets snippy.
Yeah, he does.
He gets defensive really quick.
He does.
But I was just like, ooh.
But I almost wonder if Poppy and him just have, like, this weird tension, like, of, like
they have a weird tension, and they don't understand each other's humor.
True.
Like, she's constantly looking over of like, was that a joke? Did
Yeah.
he know I was joking? Like, I was like,
Right.
how about let's just stop making
But
jokes
he
with each
does-
other?
Right. He does make 3 seem very fickle because he goes,
Yes.
he's famous for filling positions with random people, then randomly letting them go. Like, how can he do that? That's so weird.
He's in charge, so
I guess.
this person's no longer a must hire. Bye.
Yeah, I guess.
I've used you. I've got what I wanted out of you.
So the next chapter, we get into it, and Poppy is worried about Robin at the very beginning, and specifically asks Chelsea to reach out. Now, Cassie has asked me multiple times to be able to reach out to some of her kids because, like, they're going through whatever, and sometimes they'll talk to me more than they will, mom. Which is normal. Like, I would hope that Water or, your kids would be able to, like, feel like they would be able to go to other people.
Yeah, for sure.
If they needed to. But I like that there's that friendship with them.
Yeah, no, knowing that there are other people on her side is like, that's really nice.
Right.
And
What you
then it's
looking at?
this, I'm trying to remember my first note that I was like, does that happen that closely to the front? I'm trying to remember what the context of this note was.
What is your note?
I'll
tell you.
She says it's something about Robin. She was like, I want to kill her and take notes at the same time about how sneaky she is about something.
Is it her or Emily that she wants to take notes?
Sorry, Emily. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Emily.
Because she's frustrated. And she was like, I both want to kill her and take notes about what she's doing. And I was like,
Yep.
that's really funny.
Yep.
Is that after? Gosh dang it.
I mean, it's your first comment, so it's got to be towards the beginning.
That's what I'm like. It's got to be right at the front.
Yeah.
Because then I said, Chelsea, with the 3 logic. She says, pay more attention to what he doesn't say.
Yep. For sure.
I was like, ooh.
So it's up here that she's talking about the Emily then, because they start talking about Emily with the necklace about here. Yeah, it's right there. This last sentence.
Oh, yes, the girl had the necklace.
She doesn't have that problem. I want to kill her. Yeah.
I can't read and think at the same time. Anyway, I just thought that was a really funny note. I was like, I both want to throttle her and
Well, it's kind of
follow
like
her lead.
going back to, I want to take her outside and have a stern conversation with her, but yeah, I want to kick her at the same time. Like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. No, I was just laughing of like, I'm pissy and jealous.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm mad, but I'm jealous.
Right.
I was like, that's funny.
So a date with 3,
Supposedly.
but there's no alcohol. We got the list of food when he leaves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, in his defense, he did not bring alcohol. Well, yeah, he doesn't.
But this is where
doesn't offer to.
I say I'm surprised Poppy hasn't Googled 3 yet, because it's just like weird. Like, they're going back and forth on possibly going to the Psycho House for a date, which I think is a weird place to go to a date.
I meant to look up and see if the Psycho House is actually still standing.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of funny. Especially just sit on the front porch. Like, I did make a note. I said they're meeting at the Psycho House, ... Not reading into that.
Right.
Foreshadowing. No.
Yeah. And then Ellen finds out. Are we there yet?
Yep.
Okay. So she goes to her room.
Before that,
Okay,
she
go
makes
ahead.
the note with Chelsea to text her instead of phone call her.
Oh, yeah, to Robin.
Because she was like, this generation thinks that their soul will be sucked out of the phone or something.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that's me.
Me too. I actually messaged a cleaning company today, or last night technically, and I said in my email, I don't usually pick up phone numbers that I don't recognize, so please leave me a
text
message or text me. And they did both.
Nice.
So I forgot to message them back, so I'll have
details.
to do that. But
My mom made fun of me when I was in high school, and like they had something with my brother. They had to go. My mom would leave, $10 or whatever. It was many years ago for pizza. And say, here, order pizza. I would pocket the money and make myself a bagel because I would not pick up the phone to order
did you
pizza.
just say bagel?
Bagel. Bagel. How do you say bagel? It's a bagel.
It's a bagel.
Bagel.
Oh my
It's a
God.
cream cheese bagel.
You are saying it's so Midwestern too, which is hilarious because they call them
always said
bagels. Like a bagel.
It's a bag.
Yeah, a bagel.
That's how it's spelled.
I know it is, but you're saying it's so Midwestern, which is hilarious because you only
Bagel.
lived in St. Louis for a short amount of time.
I've definitely said bagel my whole
And
life.
I can hear Poppy in that, like as in a bagel. Yeah.
It's a bagel.
Yep.
Anyway, yes.
Anyways.
So my mom makes fun of me and says online food ordering was created for me because I would not pick up the phone to order food. Hate
Yep.
talking to strangers on the phone. Will not
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of it either, but if I have to, I have to.
Nope. I won't do it. You can leave me a voicemail or email me or text me or do any of the other 40 things.
I mean, I think I mentioned at some point in one of our other episodes that I used to pretend to like do the sales calls when I worked at a tuxedo company. So, because you always go, like brides and grooms go to events or whatever, and they put their name
With their
on the list.
information.
And then, so you're a tuxedo company that gets this list. And so you're supposed to call them and be like, hey, here we go.
So
So Bob just messaged us and he goes, is this why I have to let our text our landlord for you in our group chat? And I was like, I mean, yes, because I don't want to have to, but she usually has somebody come and spray the ground, like the rocks in the back. And she hasn't yet. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe she's just not going to do it this year. So I don't know, but I was like, we should text her. And usually when I say we,
I mean
him. So he goes, hashtag, this is bullshit. Yes. But that's, I mean, life with
I used to have an
married
excuse
Christina,
that I worked in a secure space all day, so I couldn't make the phone call. So Tim had to. I don't have that excuse anymore. Dang it.
That's funny. Okay.
So now we're busted by Alan.
Okay.
How did he know?
So I think he saw her.
Okay, I was like, or did somebody tell him?
I mean,
I don't think Travis.
Travis
Like,
wouldn't have said
I'm not blaming
anything.
him.
And I don't think anybody would have told him. I think that
He saw her go in
Alan
and not
was
come
still
out.
there and saw her go in and just, yeah, exactly.
Like, hello,
Yep.
I know you're in there.
But like, I honestly think he saw her. But she also, again, just like Travis, started running her mouth and telling him everything.
yeah, she doesn't have a filter when she panics.
No.
the filter is gone.
Yep. So yeah,
Which
I
again,
just was
same,
like,
but
I was like, okay, well, at least he's being nice about it. Bossy, but nice. Mm-hmm. And yeah,
it's like, go sleep here.
Yeah.
And he gets mad at her the next morning, but we'll get to that.
But here's my question. Like, what's with everybody sneaking around? So she goes to the trailer.
Yes.
And then she sees Ryan
we learn
leave
is
the
Ryan
trailer
next
next
door.
door. And we learned about Ryan earlier
Sneak
about,
out.
yeah. Like, it's just like, why are people sneaking around? It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
Go home.
I mean, he's sneaking around, Emily's sneaking around, Poppy's sneaking around, Travis is sneaking around.
At least we know Poppy and Travis's. Okay, in fairness, we know Poppy's motivations and situations. You can read into Travis's,
Right.
situation a bit. Obviously, don't understand the backstory or motivations there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the others just starting to get a little bit of Emily's motivations. Like maybe she doesn't have a home to go to either.
Maybe.
'Cause she doesn't want to go back to her dad's house. And then we don't know anything about Ryan yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of like.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like,
This is where my note about the Psycho House. I said I'm not reading into that.
Yeah.
False.
But yeah, so now Alan knows. Now Poppy's got to figure out what to do. And then she decides to leave the trailer to go meet up with 3.
She leaves Kevin in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin was comfy on her blanket.
On her.
Yep.
On her blanket. Yeah.
So
I was like, just don't poop in there.
Right.
It's like my first thought. Or
and
don't
that's
eat
the funny
anything.
part is that
no finding the underwear.
Yeah, right. And we don't really like. Obviously, it's not a descriptor in most books using bathrooms and dogs going potty or whatever. But she doesn't go potty very often, and she does not eat or drink water very often in this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
She talks about the next morning. She
Yeah.
takes her out and relieves her,
Right,
but
yes.
like, that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, didn't you already say earlier in the day that Kevin had to walk around? Like she needs to use her legs. But yeah. So
this conversation with 3 gets off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Don't let Emily tell you stories.
Yeah. She just wants to like feel normal sitting with him, and then he goes on to like start asking random weird questions, and then she starts asking really random weird questions.
Yeah.
So
he started it.
Well, yeah.
But no, just his like immediate defense of like, don't believe everything she tells you. And I was like, she hasn't told Poppy anything yet. Like, what are you afraid of Poppy finding out?
Well, and not only that, but like, I mean, technically Emily said, ask 3 about things. So like, I don't know. But also, why is he defensive over the fact that he knew the director back when and he needed a leg up? Like everybody needs a leg up. Does. Like no matter what job you're in, what like creed of person you are, animal, foe, whatever, you have to have a leg up at some point. Because your first job is usually your first leg up.
Well, and even in school, that is something. I have the extremely shy child who will sit and struggle for hours in tears before she asks for help.
Right. Yep.
And I'm like, that's something we are working on teaching her is to ask for help.
Right.
And like lean on others around you.
Yep. For sure.
You don't know everything, and that's okay.
Water seems to think she does. So.
I mean, yes. So does thing 1. But right. That's the problem is she was like, I will figure this out. And she will just sit and struggle until she's in tears and nothing gets done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just ask for help. Raise your hand.
Mm-hmm. And then there's my child who wants everybody to help her do everything, no matter what it is, rather than just starting and doing it herself. So if it's dishwasher, cleaning, like thing 1 will come over and Water will be like, I know I have to do the dishwasher, but can thing 1 help me? I'm like, only if she absolutely wants to, and you cannot guilt her into doing it with you. So, and usually thing 1 goes, I don't want to. And I'm like, okay, then go do something else.
You.
Exactly.
And in fairness, she's better at home. It's more at school.
Yeah, for sure.
That I think she just gets overwhelmed, or she's like, I don't want to bug the teacher who's helping somebody else or whatever. Like,
for sure.
Get over yourself. Yes, everyone needs help from time to time.
Yeah, but why is 3 so annoyed with knowing, like with having to explain how he did kind of know him and stuff? Like it's so weird.
Like I said, he's immediately defensive, and I don't like it. He's hiding something.
Yep.
Because that's the only reason you go on the defense.
Yep.
But then they get all kishy.
Woohoo. I remember I was like, there's the kiss she's been dreaming of.
Yeah.
And then I read the very first line
of the next chapter.
Yeah, in the next chapter.
It's great.
I read it to Bob in the car. And it's let's see here, where is it? We should eat more. Oh, dang it. Where is it? Now I can't find it.
We're just going to do this tonight.
I know, right? Oh, well. Anyways, whatever.
I enjoyed, like, it was like a baseball game and the announcer, and the crowd went wild.
Exactly.
It's like, that's where you're.
This is what I read him. When our tongues touched, I considered moving inside his mouth to live for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's a.
Oh, yeah. He's right.
That's a weird descriptor.
I know, right? But I wrote it to him, and he goes, and how much more spicy does this book get? And I was like, I mean, I'll give it to you. Not at all.
I mean, like I said, that's
like,
just,
oh, okay.
It's just a descriptor of the kiss, and it's an interesting descriptor.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who's basically homeless. Not basically, she is.
Yeah.
She's homeless. Like,
I mean, she has a house still, technically.
Yeah, just not there.
But yeah, I just was like, this is kind of gross in a way.
It's weird.
And I can picture it too, which is the funny part, because I can totally see her, like, I can see the tongues. And then I can see her just like crawling up his body and just like sticking herself, like shrinking herself, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and like shrinking herself and just sitting in his, like, right here.
I'm sorry to everyone who's going to have nightmares tonight after that description.
or me like showing you on YouTube. Yeah, anyways. But anyways.
We earned our E tonight.
Right. But yeah.
But she didn't self-shame herself after the kiss.
No, she did not.
I'm so proud.
Yes, exactly.
Growth.
When he has to leave, it's not her fault or
Yep.
anything like that.
Yep.
But she still didn't get a lot of answers that she wanted.
Nope.
And then when she described the dinner that he packed, or somebody packed, some oranges.
She said it was the best sandwich that she'd had in a long time.
An egg salad sandwich, salt and vinegar chips,
the best.
and chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, okay, egg salad sandwich, salt and vinegar chips. Ew, I would not want to kiss that.
I mean, she ate the sandwich afterwards, so.
Well, yeah, after. But you have to think if you're on a date and you're both eating those.
And then you had the plan to go back to his house afterwards.
Yeah.
Hopefully he has toothbrushes.
Gross. Like, I would not want to kiss that.
That is a bad combination.
No. Right? Salt and vinegar chips and egg salad sandwich. It just makes my tummy turn.
Yeah, I like the chips. The sandwich sounds gross.
I mean, I love egg salad, so I don't know.
But yeah, I was very proud of her not like, yeah, that she just didn't jump into this self-loathing.
Right.
Everything is my fault. It was just stay alert. I've never been more awake in my life.
Right.
Like she's alive
her
right now.
Foot turns in. She's tired, I guess.
I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah. No, I liked that. I was like, a little bit of growth. A little bit of growth. She said she should have listened to her Kegel podcast. Mm-hmm. So I had to look it up.
Ooh.
Kegels and coffee.
Is it
a real podcast?
Okay, cool. Okay.
I was like, I may need to know more about that.
Yes, I may need to know more about that one too. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was laughing. I was like, that's funny. That is a legit podcast. I know nothing about it. But I was like, I am intrigued.
Right. Okay, so kegels and coffee. What's a kegel? What the fuck am I doing with my life? What if I don't want babies? Am I the only one that doesn't have it figured out? Settle in and join host Isabel von Rittberg in her raw, vulnerable, and sometimes outrageous conversations about the things that keep us up at night. No topic is taboo. Nothing is off limits. I dig that.
I do too.
I might have to actually go and listen to that.
I'm intrigued. Like I said, I like the name. Kegels and coffee. I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's the podcast Poppy was talking about, but she was like her Kegel podcast. And I was like, okay, now I need to look up if this is a thing.
For sure. That's funny.
If you are interested in Kegels, there is also multiple playlists on Spotify that are like timing.
Oh,
to practice
that's actually
to do
kind of cool.
It's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Wish I knew of that
it's
7 years ago.
I just learned that Barilla, the pasta company, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called, Barilla?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyways, the Italian pasta company that you get in a blue box actually has a playlist. Yep. The Barilla. Barilla pasta. Okay. So they have a playlist of songs. And if you get the penne or the spaghetti or whatever, it's how long it takes until it's al dente, the exact perfect way you should cook your pasta.
Oh my God.
Yep. A playlist for every single type of pasta that they make. So that way you can time the length of the cooking so that it's the exact perfect amount every single time.
Okay, I need this in my life.
That's cool. Yeah. So anyways.
There's so many random things out there.
I know, right?
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. I was like, that's really cool. So,
that is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Very brilliant. Oh, yeah. Then I guess before he runs away, he kind of throws this like, "Ooh, I got another thing in the works with Witherspoon and Kidman. Like, you can come with us." And she's like, "Oh, we can be the lovebirds that make it." And I was like, "Oh boy, oh boy, honey, let's pump the brakes a little bit." As soon as he's throwing out like, "There's something else that's going to get greenlit."
Yeah,
and dropping big names. Not Alan Carroll. Nobody's heard of before.
Well, no, Alan Carroll is award winning, and everybody knows who he is.
She's never heard of him.
Yeah.
She knows who Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman are.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yep.
So I was like, "Are you?" He's toying with her. Like
You think?
he's leading her on.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's not
Sincere.
a work in the mix that he's working on. I don't think it's as close as he's making it sound.
Okay.
And or he is not going to have the pull on that he does
Right.
on this one.
Okay.
Because that's a big jump from
Right.
Dougie's to
True.
Witherspoon Kidman.
Yeah.
And I was like, and also with now 2, I'm put air quotes here, dates that he's abandoned her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're
Basically
leading her
ditched
on.
her.
You're
Yeah. And those calls come at a very interesting time.
yeah.
But
It's kind of that you're on a bad date. Somebody calls, says somebody got hurt and you have to leave.
I mean,
Like,
kind of. It kind of sounds like that.
it's kind of like it keeps going.
Okay, so Robin.
Yeah.
So Robin gets kicked out of her apartment because the mother is in town.
is
now.
visiting.
Yes. But she has to sleep in the kids' room. You would think that they'd have a guest room outside of the apartment space.
I mean, maybe. Again, we were talking about New York living.
Yeah, but they literally have it sounds like they have a whole floor or like at least a penthouse
Yeah.
and a
3
separate
bedrooms.
apartment
Yeah.
for her. So you would think that, and they have a kids' room. Mm-hmm. So that's one room. Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of like, I would think that they'd have a guest room
One
other
more
than,
room.
yes, the apartment.
It's always a chance it's an office or something. But
Very possible.
anyway,
But I think I think Poppy is right that they should pay for her like to sleep there because she's still taking care of the kids if they wake up.
so I basically we don't have enough information to decide.
Right.
Because if this is a one night thing,
Yeah.
no. Like it's not a big deal.
Right.
Pull out an air mattress, sleep in the kids' room, have a tent sleepover,
Yeah.
fun thing, whatever. If this is a week, then yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
talk reimbursement.
But I think Poppy's also on the right side where Robin has to figure it out. She's an
Yes.
adult now. Like she has to learn how to handle these things.
I wrote, and yes, she does have to figure it out.
Yep,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. I'm so glad she kind of half-heartedly offered to call,
Yeah.
but didn't. Because I was like, you're right. Robin's an adult now.
Yeah.
She is. She's over 18. Like, you're on your own. Like,
Yeah.
you've got to learn to fend for yourself in this
Yeah.
big, crazy world. But yeah, I was like, you're overreacting about her sleeping on the kids' floor for a night as far as you know.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a little bit of an overreact. But
I mean, yeah.
it's also like, if she's still there in a few days, then that might be a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
But for all we know, the mother has a plane to catch the next morning and is literally there for the night.
True. But either way, I think like you can't, like, even if it is one night, there has to be some sort of like, hey, sorry that you're getting kicked out of your space. Like, here's a compensation for you because like she was promised her own space and all of the, and
Yeah.
she's not a 24-hour nanny, that kind of thing. So I think there is some of that balance, but again, Robin has to be able to figure it out.
Yes.
And she can't
1,000%.
have somebody like her mommy calling. Can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But so would you sleep in somebody else's bed
No.
sheets
No.
or
I
the
would have been on the
bathroom?
couch.
Or the bathroom?
No, she was on the couch.
Yeah, but she's been sleeping in a bathroom next to a toilet
Yeah.
for days.
But then he gives her shit for sleeping on the couch and not in his bed. And I was like,
Okay, but she's been sleeping next to a toilet. Do you know how many men miss the toilet? Like, she's sleeping next to a toilet. I'd much rather sleep in a bed.
I'd sleep on the couch.
Okay.
I'm too weird like that.
I mean, my parents have always been the kind where they won't sleep in my bed because they just think that's not appropriate.
Your space.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
space, my room, my whatever.
Fair.
So whenever they come to visit, they're always in the guest room, even if our bed is more comfortable than the guest bed. And we had to leave them for like 4 days or more with our child. And I'm like, our bed is way more comfortable and it's bigger.
Go that
Like,
way.
why don't you do that? And they're like, no, it's your space. It's your area. So
Yeah,
no.
which is fair. I say all of our guests, my parents, my in-laws, everyone always sleeps in the guest room. I can think of once that it was easier. My parents slept in our room because they were watching the kids for a couple days. We had the monitors
recently, too.
set up in our room. We
Yeah.
had the motion light set up in our room for if the kids got out of bed. And Lolly was new,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Lolly, her safe place is our room.
Yep.
And honestly, if you don't see her every morning getting out of bed and almost step on her, you're going to forget about her. 'Cause
Right.
she makes no noise.
Yeah.
And she just lays there all day.
Yeah. We got a sneak peek of her this last episode because she just like came in and out of.
She snuck around the corner like, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye. No, I mean, can't judge her because of her history, but Lolly's afraid of her own tail.
Yeah.
Like, so it was one of those that was like, okay, please just sleep in our room for the 2 nights that we're going to be gone because
It'll be easier.
it'll be easier on Lolly. It'll be easier not having to rewire all the stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, because we had 2 monitors set up at that point because I think thing 1 had been sick.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I going to rewire 2 baby monitors? Just go
Right.
sleep in my bed. And so they did that. Like they don't argue it when we're like, please, this is easier.
Right.
And so, I mean, they did. But yeah, no, otherwise it's like, yeah, our room is our room.
Yeah.
And when we have a bunch of families over, please go use our shower.
Right.
Like just somebody go use our
Just
shower.
go use
Because there are like
it.
15 people in this house who have to take showers. Go
Yep.
get in the fucking
that
shower.
has happened on more than one occasion.
We do that.
at
Nobody
yours.
has any problem with that.
No.
It's like just go.
Yep, for sure. But
Yeah, but then we run into Travis.
yeah. Do you think he's living on site?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe in his car just off site.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't think he really has anywhere to go to.
Okay. You think he's basically like Poppy homeless?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Poppy thinks he's sleeping in the rafters. And
Oh, the catwalk. The catwalks.
yeah, the catwalks.
I mean,
There
we
are
do know
rafters.
that Ryan and the other unnamed guy
entity.
has seen Travis up in the catwalk sleeping.
Yeah.
So she doesn't think, she knows.
Yeah. And so she warns him.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, that was really cute that she warns him and he
Yep.
gives kind of a thank you. And
Yep.
like, I was like, that's really cute. They're friends at this, like they are,
Yep.
they're moving past acquaintance
They're two
phase.
peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought that was really, really sweet.
So why was Mariel in the trailer and in Poppy's kit? Who said what to who?
Oh, was she in Poppy's kit or did Alan pull it out?
I mean, maybe. But
You don't know.
Yeah.
She
We
jokes about wanting to flip him the bird.
Yep. But we honestly have no idea.
Nope.
Like it doesn't talk about anything more about it with
Just
Mariel.
that she's standing there holding it.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Poppy's like, does not throw Emily under the bus. Does not say a single thing about Emily. And Mariel knows it. Mariel knows for a fact. I think Mariel knows for a fact that Emily stole it. And that Poppy is
Covering for her.
covering for her.
So that's why I highlighted this line on the book if you're following along. So 164. That I said, here comes Mariel with the real truth. She said, if you stood up for yourself like you do for everyone else, maybe I could respect you. You do good work. It's clear you're interested in the job, but you've got to focus on yourself.
Yep.
And I was like, ooh, there it is.
I mostly agree with that. However, there are times when I think, especially like when you're doing group projects or group things or whatever, especially in school or even if you're at work, you can't always just tattle. Like there are times when tattling or like not standing up for your
Coworkers, compadres.
Companion is what I was looking for. There we go. You can't always just say like, hey, this is what's going on. Like sometimes you need to.
I agree, but I think Mariel is onto the fact that this is a pattern with her. It's not
Yes.
just her and Emily. That's
For
why
sure.
she still has the goddamn dog
Right.
and everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, Mariel does tell her too at the very end there
Get
to
rid
get
of
rid
the-
of the dog.
Get rid of the-
Get rid of the dog. And then Alan tells her to leave the dog so that she can go get breakfast.
Yeah.
So she does.
Yeah. She was like, what, do I stand up to him or
Storm out with the dog or no?
do I not? Yeah. I was like, thank you for leaving the dog.
I know. The dog was comfy.
Yeah.
Kevin is comfy.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't want to get out.
No.
Leave her alone.
No. Then she makes this note at the end. She's afraid she's losing him being 3 again. I asked, do you have him?
Do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I
can
think
see
she's
that.
afraid of losing something she doesn't have.
I think she wants something so badly
Yes.
that she's willing to do just about anything for it.
I agree. Completely agree. But that's why,
Because-
that's where the fear comes from of
Yep.
I want something so badly, so I'm afraid of losing him again. Like, you don't have him right now.
Right.
He's not yours.
Right.
Otherwise, you would have had a real date. Where the phones got turned off. Turn off your phones, people.
Right.
So yeah, so it's a little like,
Right.
I'm not sure you actually have him. Let's worry about the real things.
Yeah. So do you think Alan is jealous
Yes.
that Poppy was with 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or that she only goes after the younger gentleman,
Yeah.
which he is not.
No, he is not.
Yeah. No, I think he's totally jealous.
Okay.
I don't think necessarily in a relationship sexual way.
Okay.
I think he's jealous that just their relationship.
There's a past.
There's a
and
history.
there's something there.
There's a comfort there. There's
Yep.
a knowing. There's they're
Yeah.
not looking at each other going, that was a joke, right? Like
Right.
they understand each other.
Right.
Whereas she and Alan don't. They're
Right.
still doing that dance around each other of what do we actually, are we saying what we mean or not?
Right.
I think that's what he's jealous of.
Do you think that's why she feels the need to justify her relationship with 3 to Alan?
Yes.
Is because
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. I think she feels the need to justify that relationship with everybody.
Right, for sure.
Because I think she's,
Because everybody thinks that
Yeah.
she's horrible because of him for some reason.
for some, well, or that
she's a snitch.
Or just useless at the job
Yeah.
because she got it because of him.
Yeah.
Especially if he's gone through other must hires that were apparently awful.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like, oh great, here comes another one.
Right.
It's like, well, no, not necessarily.
But I also think that Alan has a lot of self-doubt and a lot of
Oh, yeah.
his own traumas and issues.
yeah.
And obviously we do find out more about that here at the end of the chapter. But I do think that I think he's jealous. I think he wants the justification because he wants to know, because he is himself is feeling out of place.
And if for some reason, which we don't really know, we haven't seen 3 on set yet.
Right.
Like you said, she seems to get a little bit of shade for being associated with him.
Right.
Maybe he's a complete asshole on set.
Very true.
And maybe Alan is trying to justify of like, why were you with this jerk?
Right.
And
Yeah.
she doesn't see it yet.
Right.
She hasn't had a chance to see it yet.
Well, and most of her stuff is still memories. It's not necessarily
nothing's
like
new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as much. So I do agree with that. And I think too that Alan just kind of is like, it's almost like he's not sure of himself with her. Like he's not quite sure what's going on or anything. So
I mean, he just found her in a bathroom. So
right.
we are firmly in the tugboat chapter, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yes, definitely.
Like she was like, I need to be a badass. I wrote, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you do.
Let's go.
But we
I'm
find
excited
out,
to see how this unveils.
Oh yes. Yes.
Un-
Her
unrolls,
badassery.
unveils. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
How it shows itself over the next couple of chapters. I'm
Right.
curious if she sticks with it or
Yeah.
falls back to being doormat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
So we finally figure out who's in the next trailer over, which Emily has left and Ryan has both left. And whoever is the only guy in the costumes department has now left as well because Gabe closed over. His name is Jeffrey, and
Jeffrey.
he is an actor.
That's all we know.
He's the little prince. She keeps referring to him. Or the small king. I'm not exactly sure what any of those mean, but I'm assuming it's just because he's a little on the shorter side.
Probably.
But he seems nice.
Napoleon complex.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But he seems really nice. Like
Right.
he's kind of
So far,
just
Yeah.
saying hi to everybody. He introduces himself to her. Even though he knows who she is, he still is like, hi, how
Hey.
are you? Like,
you're a person.
yeah, let's have a chit chat for a second.
Do the small talk.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of nice.
It is.
What'd you think of the interaction between the ladies and Ryan?
I can totally see the,
It's like the water cooler.
yeah, this is absolutely the water cooler talk or the, you're stuck on a stranded island. Who do you do it with? Like
Right, yeah.
kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, guys, like, yeah, okay, fine,
Yeah.
whatever. you and girlfriend's doing it. I like that when Robin tells Ryan, she's like, by the way, sorry, God damn it. When Poppy tells Ryan, she's like, by the way, she thinks you're dumb. Do with that as you will. Bye.
Right, exactly. And walks away without getting the reaction. And I'm just like, oh, but I want to know what he was going to say. Like, what would he say to that?
I don't know.
Exactly. I want to know.
Yeah.
But,
I thought that was the start of a pretty good badass move.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But I do find it funny because she says to herself that she's going to stand up for herself and not basically throw other people under the rug. Or not belittle them or whatever. But in a way, she kind of does that with the lady because she tells Ryan, hey, she likes you. Yeah, she likes you. She wants to make her husband jealous. And, oh, by the way, she thinks you're dumb. Like, that's kind of throwing that person under the rug. Like,
yeah.
Under the bus definitely, clunk, clunk, right over that lady.
Put it in reverse.
Yep. So...
yeah, it definitely, especially since these ladies were, like we said, kind of having cooler talk amongst themselves. Going and sharing that is definitely a little bit sketchy.
But I think it's cool that she stands up for herself with it. So
yeah.
And then she also finds out that Alan his ex-wife is being remarried. And his daughter's going to be there. And
I thought that was a weird line that she was like, his ex-wife's getting remarried and his daughter's being witness to the whole thing. I was like, do you expect her not to be?
So I almost wonder what his relationship with his daughter is.
Yes. But either way, like, so long as you have any relationship with your child and you're getting remarried,
right?
I expect them to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that Poppy's like, oh, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. I mean, if Poppy were to get married, I would expect Robin to be there.
Now, if Robin's dad, biological father, were to get married, absolutely not.
And he was in the picture.
He's non-existent.
Yeah,
No,
he's not in the picture
because he's non-existent.
Right. Robin's not there.
That's different.
Yeah, for sure.
Clearly, his ex-wife is not non-existent in their daughter's life.
Right.
Potentially more existent than him. We don't know yet. Mm-hmm. But the fact that, Robin throws a little shade that, like, she's there is like,
yeah,
that's weird.
Poppy is just not
God
quite
damn it, I said
sure.
Robin again, didn't
I? Poppy's just not quite sure about it. But I do like the fact that once she hears that about Alan, she doesn't necessarily feel bad for him, but she does stage whisper, nice pants.
Yes. She shows her support in like a friendly, work appropriate way.
Yep. And the fact that he got dressed by himself.
He shows off the button.
And he shows off the button. Yep.
I was like, yes.
Yep.
Button trick for the win.
I even wrote, I was like, that's a classic move. So.
Yeah. No, I thought that was very classy of her to, like, encourage him, make him feel better.
Yeah.
Put a little smile on his face now that she knows that he has a reason for having a bad day.
Right.
And clearly I need to go to bed so I can get names straight next week. Good Lord.
That's okay. I keep yawning the last couple of minutes too. So I'm like trying to hide them behind my microphone. Okay. So we only have 3 more after this.
Oh boy.
The next ones we're going to do are chapters 22 through 25.
To include 25.
Yep. To include 25. 22 is When Awkward Met Hollywood.
I love that.
People Do What They Want.
Uh-oh.
You Minx. And Dignity and Integrity.
Ooh.
Is the 25th chapter. So.
I have a feeling I have a lot of notes on that one.
I know, right?
Although, like you said, the chapter titles don't really give you much because sometimes they're just like blurb.
Yep. Like the tugboat.
Or like Alan has left the chat. It sounds like, ooh, this could be really interesting.
Like he's leaving the entire show and all that stuff.
He keeled over, like, I don't know. But like he just walked away.
Yep. So the following one after that's going to have 6 chapters. It's one of the longer ones, but it's still a short little setup. So anyways, okay, if you're following along, let us know so that we can chit chat. And we will see you guys next time.
Clearly we're good at chit chat.
I know, right? We got a little off the beaten path again today, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yep. Okay. We'll see you guys next time. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. If you had fun, please follow, download, and review this podcast on your preferred listening platform.
If you're ready for the next chapter, join the spoiler-free conversation on our Facebook group. Search You Haven't Read What? The podcast.
Or on Instagram and YouTube for exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content. Have a great week.
And we'll catch you on the next page.